What are we going to do today? Well, the first webinars we had so far were actually quite basic. Today we're going to go a little bit further. So I've taken a strategy which is well known, which is called 3 soldiers and 3 crows. So the idea is actually quite simple. We're looking within the high and low of the Bollinger Band indicator, 3 consecutive bullish candles called crows, and 3 consecutive bearish candles. So in case of bearish candles, we will sell. In case of, let me put that here, in case of a trend going up, we're going to buy. That's as simple as that. So what do we want to do? First, we're going to filter the candles. So I'm going to put that up so it's not going to bother us. Here we go. Up. So first we're going to filter the candles to get only the 10-minute candles. Up. So candle, up, period, and it happened that 10 minutes default period. So that's. Then we're going to introduce our indicator. So I go to indicators, it's in others. And here I'm going to choose the Bollinger indicator. So it's, let me find it, BBands. Here it is. So here I have to choose what I'm going to use. So I'm going to use SMA. But see, I have a large choice. But I'm going to choose the SMA ones. So I'm going to minimize this one. And here you see the output values. So these variables, they have been auto-created. They are here. So I can change the names, of course, just by right-clicking and edit. But I'm happy with the names that have been auto-generated. They are quite relevant, so we're fine. Now, what do we want to do? We want to check if the last candle was bearish or bullish. So of course we are going to use the logical. Here we go. So we're going to compare the close and the open. That's quite straightforward. Close and open. So we don't need any kind of input value here. We're gonna see, you can actually, if you have long names, you can always
Can you please repeat?
resize your block.
Just a second, please.
Now the idea is this one. If it's long, we're going to add 1 to the counter of the soldiers and reset the crows to 0. So I'm going to take the mathematical. I'm going to get a sign and calculation, and I will need 2 of them actually. Here we go. So if the close value is less than the open, that means the candle is short. So that means we're gonna create a variable. I'm gonna create it here. Users available, right click, add a variable. So I'm gonna call it soldiers count. Start value 0. It's always good to put a start value, because in some cases, if you don't have any start value, then the strategy might look for the value and it's not going to find it. So just put yourself on the safe side. And then I'm going to create another one called crows count. Crows That's
en este momento, pero ¿en qué le puedo ayudar?
So less, if the close is less than the open, then we want to assign to the soldiers up the value 0. And we're going to add to the crows the value 1. And the result will be the new crows count. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing here. Here we go. If the close is more than the open, then up the candle is long, so we're going to assign to the crows the value of 0. So look what I'm doing here. Up. And the system is going to create a variable. So if I change that, so instead of letting this temp var 100, I'm going to call it 0. Sorry, it's the assign I want. So we're going to assign the value 0 to the crows. Okay? Exactly as we did here. And then we're going to make our calculation. We're going to increase the soldiers count. So soldiers count plus 1 up. And here we're going to write 1 or increment, because we might want to change that. And the result will be the new soldiers value. Now pay attention. If I let it like that, there will be a mistake in my strategy. You have to check the settings. Here it's going to multiply. So if you multiply it by 1, it's obviously not going to increment anything. We want to put sum, and we're going to do that both ways. All right? Now, if it's equal, then we have a flat. So then we want to assign 0 to both soldiers and crows. And see, I don't need to retype a 0. We have a variable created for that. Now I realize that I wrote soldiers instead of soldiers. It's not a problem. I can change the name of my variable, soldiers. That's it. And you see it reflects everywhere. Good. And here, well, the strategy basically stops because it's a flag. So it's going to go back here on candle and go through it again. Now, because I like to keep it tidy, I'm going to hold the control key here. I'm going to hold the control key and select the two blocks. Then I right click, create group. And I'm going to click here to give a relevant name to this group. And I'm going to call this group reset all to 0. Reset all to 0. That's it. So our first part is done. This part is counting the crowds and the soldiers. Okay, now we can go to the next step, which is checking that we are actually inside the Boolean band. So lower than the high and higher than the low. Let's go. I'm going to obviously use the if. Here we go. So first I'm going to check the close candle. So we don't know if the last one is green or red. We don't know if it's going up or down. So we have to check everything. So up, up. Now we're going to take the close and we're going to compare it first with the upper value. So you remember this has been created here. So I can find it here, upper band, upper. Now, if the upper, so if the close is more than the upper, here, we're just going to reset everything because, you know, we're just not in the range. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click, copy group, paste, and then just create my link. So I could actually, yeah, I'm going to put colors because it's, I see it better. I could actually link to these ones here because they both do the same. But then, you know, you will have like a string here, and so it doesn't look good. So we're just gonna create a new one by copy pasting and putting it here. It's just to be more tidy. It uses 2 blocks more, but it really looks better. Just a second, I'm looking at the. I'm just looking at what we have in our chat to see if we have any questions so far. All right, let's continue. Now, if it's equal, well, that's up to us. We're going to consider that it's still in the range. Then we're going to compare the same one with the, okay, let's go. First, let's put the string. We're going to compare the open with the same upper. Again, if we are above, up, we reset everything. Up, I've deleted by mistake. Let's go up here. Here we go. And here we're not going to put anything after that because there's no point continuing. So what's going to happen? The strategy is going to start again from the beginning. See, each time we arrive to a cul-de-sac, then we go to the beginning again. So we have checked the close and open with the upper. Now we're going to do the same thing with the lower. Let's go. So we need an if statement again. Up. This time we're going to check the close with the lower. So again, we consider that if it's the same, we carry on. Okay? Now, if the candle close is lower than the lower band, so obviously we are going to, let me reset everything and go back to where we come from. Otherwise, we are going to check the open. Let's go. Up. Again with the lower band, I can drag and drop it from here or from here. Same result. Up, up. Okay, it looks better like that. So again, if the candle open is lower than the lower value, then up. That's it. Otherwise, we just continue. So far, what do we know? We know we have counted our long and short. We know we are in the range. Now we are going to check the soldiers counter or the crowd counter has reached the value we had decided, which is the 3. Up. So let's go. At this stage, I will take a second to check. All right, we have a discussion on MT4. That doesn't concern me. So we want to check that our counter that we have created here. Let's check the soldiers first. We want to know if they have reached the number 3. If we have 3 soldiers in a row. If not, so if it's less, then we're going to check the crows. And actually, I could here input the number 3, or I could just drag and drop. And then the system is going to create a new variable. And we're going to call it target. Target count, yeah. Let's go. Save. Here we go. Now, if we have reached, so more is not possible. We will see that. If we have reached, then we want to open See, I go to trading. We want to open a position. But before that, we have to check if there is no already position open. Otherwise, we might age short position or just increase more our exposure. So we're going to use this one to close if any is open, and we are going to check what are our positions. So for that, we're going to use the if statement. So basically, we're going to check, then close if needed, then open at market. Now here in output value, I want to name the position that has been opened. So let's write last pause. And see, we have here a new variable, and because it's a position, we have here all we need about the position ID, amount, price, etc., etc. So we want to check that this position is basically equals to 0. So we're going to position amount equals to 0. If it's equal to 0, okay, less, we can assume that the position amount is never be less than 0. Okay. Then, if it's more than 1, we first want to close the position, and we're going to close the one we have created here, and then open. If it's equal to 0, we directly open. So far, so if soldiers count equals 3, so if we have 3 green candles, then we check that nothing is open. If something is open, we close it. If nothing is open, we go directly to open our new position, and we're going to buy at market. And we have put in our output values the positions, the name of the new position. Of course, we can change everything we want here. We can even add a comment. We can change the instrument, etc., etc. Here, everything is set to default, so it's going to take the values that are here in default variable. Now, if our soldiers count doesn't reach 3, what do you mean? So it means you don't see the whole panel, because it can be resized if needed. So while we're here, the soldiers, they didn't reach 3. Let's check the crowds, and then it's going to be exactly the same thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select one by one, copy and paste, just because I'm a little bit lazy. So if it's less, then what's happening? Well, not much. If it's more, that shouldn't be possible. If it's equal, hopla, Then we check that the position amount is 0. Here we check we don't have anything open, and here we actually want to sell. And the input values are up to you, and the output value is last pos. So if we open in one side or the other, anyway, the new position created will be called last pos, and that's the one we're going to check here, and it's the one we're going to check here. Bruno, where do you work? Why, you have a job for me? Yeah, research, monitoring, and brokerage. No, it's actually, I am RM at RMA. So I'm a risk manager at the research, monitoring, and brokerage department. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated. So once we have done that, there's still one thing we want to do. 2 minutes. 2 minutes left, yeah, of course. So there is still one thing we want to do. We want to reset all the counters to 0, because otherwise here we still have our 3. You know, the value of the cross count is still 3. So again, we're just going to take this reset to 0, copy, and paste it here. And in both ways, that's it. Now, to clarify everything, we're going to group, create group, create group, and this is the one that is going to buy. So I'm going to write here, buy. Here we're going to do exactly the same thing. Create group. Up. Open. Then I love to create groups. We're gonna group here. Also, you know, I'm using the control key. Yeah, it's over. This is count. I'm just saying goodbye. And that's it. Our strategy is done. We don't have time to test it, but here we have. We filter, we create our band, we assign the values, we increase our count. Here we check that we are in the range, and then we buy or sell, and then we reset everything to 0. That's it. You'll show how it works. I've just explained how it works. So that's it. Thank you very much. That's it for today. I just want to remind you that you can always go to the support board if you have any questions. Here, do not hesitate, and we have a full group of people answering questions about how to use JForex, Visual JForex. There are more and more people doing that. And if you want to see this webinar again, do not hesitate. You just will find them on YouTube, and you will find them also here. They are posted each time they are available on YouTube. So that was an introduction, and you have all the other ones. That's it. Okay, I'm 2 minutes late, which is kind of, quite good. Does it run smoothly on the tablets? Give it a try. But as long as Flash works on your tablet, then it should work without any problem. That's it. Any questions? Please use the forum. Thank you, everybody, for your attention, and see you next week for the next Visual JForex tutorial.